Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 130, and away we go.
Step up to the break, we got MJP and Green Man. It's the rain and drip in your chip team. From Milan to Japan and everywhere in between. Get the up-to-date news on the wrestling scene. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot. Oh yeah, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Yeah.
That's right, folks. Welcome to episode 130, and yes, I am back from my brief little vacation down to Atlantic City. Thank you to the Boulevard Bullies for filling in for me last week, episode 129. I did notice it took two men for Green Man to replace me, and not for nothing, they did a great job. So if you want to hear Green Man and the Boulevard Bullies getting drunk off their asses rambling on about nonsense, go back, check out episode 129. That was last week. Let's get into it this week. This is our SummerSlam show, the biggest party of the year. I made it back just in time. But let's start the show off like we always start the show off with our wrestling replay. August 14th, 2011, SummerSlam, brought to you by 7-Eleven. Your boy here at Michael J. Puddy and the Green Man were in attendance at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. We were a part of a crowd of 17,404. We saw John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio defeat R-Truth, The Miz, and Alberto Del Rio in 9 minutes 36 seconds. Mark Henry defeated Sheamus via countout in 9 minutes 22 seconds. Kelly Kelly defeated Beth Phoenix to retain the Divas Championship in 6 minutes 33 seconds. Wade Barrett defeated Daniel Bryan in 11 minutes 47 seconds. Randy Orton defeated Christian in a no-holds-barred match to win the World Heavyweight Championship in 23 minutes 43 seconds. WWE Champion CM Punk defeated WWE Champion John Cena to win the undisputed WWE Championship with Triple H as special guest referee in 24 minutes and 7 seconds. Didn't last too long because Alberto Del Rio came back and cashed in his Money in the Bank contract to defeat CM Punk to win the WWE Championship in only 11 seconds. That was SummerSlam 2011. That was the third stop in me and Green Man's trip to do all 4 pay-per-views that year. We went to Royal Rumble in Boston. We went to WrestleMania in Atlanta. SummerSlam in LA. And that year, because it all started with Survivor Series being at Madison Square Garden. 2011. That was 7 years ago. That's crazy. A long time ago. That was a great show for me because that was a show that cemented me as a John Cena fan. Mainly because they had no other shirts in my size. There was no Zack Ryder shirt. There was no Miz shirt. I forgot who else there was. But the only shirt they had in Michael J. Puddy's size was a John Cena shirt, the red one. So I rocked it. You can't just buy the t-shirt. You got to buy the wristbands as well. So here I am. 7 years later. Looking back in the moment, I became a John Cena fan, and I have not regretted it, nor have I looked back. But anyway, like I mentioned earlier, Bullies were here last week because I was down in Atlantic City, scoping out the venues for Boardwalk Beatdown. Also, I could have probably done it this week. I probably could have done it when we went down there, but I just wanted an excuse to get away. So I dotted the I's, crossed the T's, checked out the venue to scope out our location, how we can do the setup, make sure there's outlets, because we need fucking outlets. We gotta plug shit in. Went down with a friend of mine, met with somebody from the Podbean offices, so shout out to Scott over at Podbean. It was a good time. Great chance to get away and blow off some steam. Night when we get down there, of course it's a long trip, it's kind of tiring, but whatever, we get down there. And I went with a friend of mine who I've been to Atlantic City with before, but I just forget that he's not a drinker, he's not a gambler, he's not a partier. So kind of sucked the fun out of it, sucked the energy out of the hotel room. I'm like, I'm away from my life. I'm on vacation. Let me YOLO and enjoy myself. So at 9 o'clock when he fell asleep in bed, your boy at Michael J. Puddy went down to the bar, got a couple of drinks, played some roulette, played some slots, played some 3-card poker, and I ended up walking away with, I think it was $200 something. I posted on Instagram. I think it was like $200 something from the slot machine. So I had to celebrate by going off to Mrs. Fields, get some freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, went back to the room, drank a little bit more, and that was night one. Day two, I checked out the convention center, the spacing, where we're going to be. Beautiful. Can't wait to get there. It's going to be awesome. Boardwalk Beatdown. Had some conversations with those folks over at Standalone, including Chad Mines, who was gracious enough to be here for 3 weeks in a row, detailing and breaking down every aspect of Boardwalk Beatdown. So if you guys aren't excited about it by now, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Check your pulse. So I think it was all said and done. Everything was worked out. Went over the layout, the event, the schedule, a Boardwalk Beatdown. Went back to the room, got changed, went out to dinner. A friend of mine, he wanted to make up for night one. So he went hard body drinking, pounding back beers, doing some shots. He was raring to go. Now he eats. Now he's tired. He goes back in bed, falls asleep again. This is my life. Okay? I wake him up, try to wake him up. He doesn't want to drink anymore. And he was ready to go. He was fucked up. He was ready to party it up. But no, now I got back the tired, sober, just wants to go home friend of mine. I give him $20 to go gamble. He loses it. But he sits with me to watch me lose my money in 3-card poker. It was just you go down to Atlantic City to party, get away. Don't go with a straight edge guy. Oh, jeez. You need the green man. Where's green man in Atlantic City? Oh, that's the opposite end of the spectrum. Be careful what I wish for. I'll find out in 2 weeks. Whew. But man, oh man, the best part about going to Atlantic City was fucking Roy Rogers. Man, Roy Rogers is the best. I got a burger. I got the fucking french fries. Didn't have curly fries, but curly fries snuck into my fries. It was fantastic. The biscuits, the chicken. I didn't have the chicken, but the chicken is awesome. I got the french fries. I usually like the french fries and mashed potatoes, but I got fucking carb overload. I'm not fucking running the marathon. Why do I need all the carbs? I'm going to fucking sit on my ass gamble. So I opted not to get the mashed potatoes. Regretted it, but it was for the best. So everyone listening to my voice who's going down to Atlantic City for Boardwalk Beatdown, do yourself a favor and stop off at the rest stop for Roy Rogers. You will not regret it. A tradition, coming back from Atlantic City, my friend and I always stop at Denny's, which is always a home run. Denny's is awesome. Started the trip with Roy Rogers, ended the trip with Denny's. In between, Jack Daniels nonstop. Great fucking weekend. Great weekend. I cannot wait to replicate it in a couple weeks for, what was that event? I don't know if I mentioned it. It's, Boardwalk Beatdown in Atlantic City. And for some reason you can't make it, well, we got you covered here at A Shot of Wrestling. A Shot of Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook. Shot of Wrestling, no A on Twitter. Yes, Green Man, people use Twitter, okay? Twitter! Green Man ignores Twitter all the time. I tell him he's finally starting to post on Facebook, but he's ignoring Twitter. So if you check out Shot of Wrestling, no A on Twitter, you can see what I post, because Green Man has yet to touch it. I don't think he has a fucking password. Anyway, way off topic. Rant over. We are getting ready for SummerSlam. The 4th year here in Brooklyn, right next door. And we started off our SummerSlam weekend, Friday night, by going to the Dolph Ziggler and Friends comedy show, the world-famous Caroline's in Times Square, Manhattan. Went in by myself, because Green Man and Jeff the Intern went to Joey Janela's Lost in New York. Been following Green Man on social media, following A Shot of Wrestling on social media. It was a great show. Everyone who went there had nothing but rave reviews for it. We were talking to a couple people online at Caroline's who were there, and they said the same thing. It was a great show. We had Sandman, Hakushi. It was great wrestling, top to bottom. And Green Man also went there to scope out the Melrose Ballroom, because that is the home for Bound for Glory in October. Beautiful arena, he says. Looking forward to getting my tickets for Bound for Glory. Or if Impact Wrestling needs an official podcast, let us know. Inbox at shotofwrestling.com. We'll cover you top to bottom as the professional journalists that we are. And Green Man. But anyway, we're at Caroline's. We run into AJ Pan from Pan Corp, from BCW. Of course, Green Man's the PCA guy. There was no members of Federated there for me to chum up with, so I talked to fucking the intern. And of course, it's $12 for a Jack and Coke. Fuck you, Manhattan prices. The host was Renee Young. She started off the night. Brought some guy who works with WWE, part of the Friends of DZ and Friends. He came out, first time doing comedy. A lot of people were doing comedy for the first time that night. So he told us not to take pictures or videos because people were nervous. They wanted to get their feet wet. So everyone respected that. This guy was good, but I was so excited. Not only for Charlie Caruso, this beautiful, beautiful Charlie Caruso, but Zack Ryder was going to be there as well. Of course, Zack Ryder, great friends with Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, probably, and John Morrison. I think those are the 4 close friendships we got there in the WWE. It was announced that Dolph Ziggler would not be in attendance. Dolph Ziggler backed out. Checked on his social medias. He went to a wedding somewhere. I clicked the person who was getting married, and it turns out, ready for this? She's friends with Zack Ryder and my brother's ex-girlfriend. Oh, was my brother's ex-girlfriend in the same room with Zack Ryder? Could my brother have been in that room? I'll never know. There's no pictures. The bitch hasn't been fucking active since 2014. Again, apologize. I digress. My man Scott Stanford comes out from Pix11 here, sportscaster and news anchor, who I often tweet jokes to and he uses on air. So you're welcome, Scotty. Never gives me credit, though. Ty Dillinger came out. The Iconics were there. Tyler Breeze was there. Hornswoggle, replacing Zack Ryder. The Miz. So yeah, I couldn't complain too much because The Miz killed it, as one would expect, because The Miz is, awesome. He can do no wrong. Act. I'm sure he can sing, too. Next time, hope we run him into at the karaoke bar. No, I'm sure The Miz is awesome. Miz is great. Miz killed it. Everyone killed it. Charlie Caruso was great. Who else? I'm missing some other... Oh, yeah. The big surprise guest, Tommy Dreamer, was there. And he had everyone cracking up. It was just top to bottom. It was a great night. Dolph Ziggler ended the night, of course. The long set, because he's the comedian of the group. And he did a great job. Everyone did a great job, especially for their first time doing stand-up comedy. It was the Miz's first time. It was Charlie Caruso's first time. I'm not too sure about Scott Stanford. You can't tell because he was awesome. It was a great night. Hope to do it again for WrestleMania. So definitely buy tickets for that. Definitely do the meet and greet. At the end of the night, they did a Q&A. Charlie Caruso left. Scott Stanford left. The Miz left. It was just whoever was left. Green Man came up, of course, because he's painted green, wearing a fucking green mohawk. He asked a stupid question. Everyone boos him. Dolph Ziggler makes fun of him. Great way to end the night. Okay? Poor drunk Green Man. He thought he had a great question. He had a great question about All In. Everyone's laughing at him. They boo him. Dolph Ziggler makes fun of him again. It was awesome. You had to be there. You had to be there. And hopefully you're there next year. Hoping they do that for WrestleMania. Because you have to. You're in New York City. You got to do it. Come on, Dolph Ziggler. DZ and Friends Part 2. And of course, tonight, we're doing a show on Saturday night. Tonight was NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. A couple good friends of the show were there, including Pete Rosado. BCW's own Pete Rosado was there taking pictures for us. So thank you, Pete, for your hard work there. And give a big shout out to Steve _Mikaka? I don't know. Steve _MICHACA 209 posted on Instagram rocking his own, very own Shot of Wrestling t-shirt. So thank you for the support, buddy. If you want to be featured on our Instagram and social medias, snap us a picture of you wearing your Shot of Wrestling shirt. Don't have one? Slide into our DMs or inbox at a Shot of Wrestling. Plenty of shirts still available, so get yours while they last. But anyway, folks, I can literally sit here all night talking about the Dolph Ziggler show, talking about my Atlantic City trip, talking about the reactions from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. But alas, I'm not going to do that. Don't worry about it. This ain't episode 129. We're running a type ship here, so let's move on right quick. This week, Green Man has an interview with Matt Tremont. In this interview you don't want to miss, so Green Man, take it away.
Welcome to another interview here, exclusively on A Shot of Wrestling. Now, you know we are on the road to Boardwalk Beatdown, and like we say time and time again, wrestling brings us together, and today is no different. Today, we are blessed to have on our show the bulldozer, Matt Tremont. Welcome, Matt, to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me on.
It's truly a pleasure. I have a short list of people that I've always wanted to talk to, and you've been at the top of my list. So thank you very much for joining us. It's an honor.
No problem at all.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I mean, on January 27th, the Knicks defeated the Heat when Jamal Crawford scored a career-high 52 points in one game. Beyonce continues her 7th week streak on top of the Billboard charts with Irreplaceable. And the bulldozer, Matt Tremont, had his first match ever. Not much of a historic day, but in the wrestling community, it was a huge day because you began your career. Now, Matt, looking back at that career, is there a piece of advice that you would give yourself, like the current Matt today, give advice to the Matt of 2007?
I would probably say just continue to do what I was doing when I broke in, and that was just be the best human being possible and be humble and just work hard. And if you do those things in the wrestling business, your talent will speak for yourself, and you'll do well for yourself. So I institute the same knowledge I had 11 years ago, to myself then and to myself now.
Gotcha. Was there anybody around you around that time that guided your career early on?
But there was a handful of guys. I wouldn't say anybody in particular, but the group of guys I broke in with was under the banner called AWFR, America's Wrestling Fundraisers. Guys named D.C. Laurie, and Stephen Morgan, and Ron Starr, and so far and so forth. So those were a lot of guys that were, I was under their learning tree when I first broke into business.
Gotcha. Now, you have been influenced by many names like Kevin Sullivan, Terry Funk, and Mick Foley. How did you feel to get into the ring with one of your inspirations like Kevin Sullivan?
That was awesome. One of my, as you said, heroes, idols growing up. So when you have the opportunity to work with one of those guys, it's always a dream come true. And, you get to sit under their learning tree and learn, with them while you're out there working, and before and after the match as well. Kevin Sullivan's such a nice human being, and was extremely nice to me, and we've worked quite a few times over the last few years, but a great guy.
What would you say was the most important lesson that you learned from him?
I just slow down and tell your story.
Okay. Now, in doing my research, you're very big on, obviously you're known for the deathmatch scene, but you are very known for also telling that story like you just mentioned in the ring. What do you think is the secret to that? Because there's many people who just go out there, especially in the deathmatch world, and just want to throw shit at each other. They're looking to just prop up the next big spot for them and make a name out of that. But how important is this story?
The story's huge. I mean, in wrestling in general, but especially in hardcore wrestling and deathmatch wrestling, whatever label you want to give it, that's what's going to separate a good hardcore match and a bad hardcore match, and a good hardcore worker and a bad hardcore worker. That is the big difference of going in there and telling a story and wrestling and implementing the violence, opposed to just going in there with no psychology and no story and not building anything up and just violence for the sake of violence and just hitting each other with stuff. That's the big difference. Gotcha.
What do you feel is one of your most known stories that you put out there in the ring?
I would definitely, as far as an entire body of work,
yeah.
The matches, the trilogy of matches just Nick Gage and I had at GCW in 2017. We've never wrestled. There was a lot of anticipation, and we just went in there, and a lot of it was on the fly, working old school and just having it be organic and telling that story in the ring. And the three matches we had were very violent, but, told a story and, provoked emotion, and, I'm very fond of those three matches.
You broke into CZW in 2011, and now you recently closed your time with them now in 2018. What would you say are your top three fondest memories from your time with CZW?
Man, I had quite a few over the years. I would definitely say probably the top three would be, one, making my debut. I literally hopped the guardrail at the ECW arena, CZW event in 2011. So I made my debut in that historic venue, winning Tournament of Death 14 in 2015.
Yep.
And 2 months later, defeated the Black Chiefs and would then go on to hold the CZW World Heavyweight Championship for 399 days. I would definitely say those are my top three fondest memories of my tenure at the Combat Zone.
So leaving the organization, I'm sure, is not an easy decision. So if you don't mind just walking us through what happened to make you leave the organization that originally gave you that platform to become who you are today.
No, 100%. Without the platform CZW gave me 7-8 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do half of what I've been able to do, in the business. So I owe CZW and DJ Hyde a lot for that platform they gave me. Nothing in particular, personally, where I had to make a decision to leave. I think when I first came into the business, or at least when I first came into CZW, opposed to now, 7-8 years later, I'm in a very different place, personally and professionally. And I've accomplished everything really that there is to do to accomplish in CZW as far as, professional accolades or anything like that. But 8 years later, I'm in like I said, a different spot in life, having the business. And it was the right time to go. And, I went out on my back and, gave somebody the rub in Dane O'Hare, and hopefully, that makes him a star. So went out doing good business, and I hope nothing but the best.
So it was kind of like a passing of the torch to O'Hare. What other names in that roster right now do you think are the future of that promotion?
Definitely Big Scared Dan O'Hare. He's probably number one. I guess as far as up-and-coming guys, I see Mance Warner is going to be there a lot now. He's on the rise. He's one of the best, up-and-coming guys, going right now. And another guy, Mitch Valen. You see him at CW and H2O. I think those would be like the top three, up-and-coming guys that you definitely keep your eye on as far as in the land of the Combat Zone goes.
Gotcha. And you just recently mentioned H2O. Now, you're a man who came from nothing when you started in the business, and now you're the owner of your own promotion, H2O Wrestling. You started a wrestling academy, and you're the proud owner of Bulldozer Collectibles. For anyone listening who is chasing a dream, what advice do you have for them?
Humility and hard work. Literally said when my post-match speech after my last match, the Combat Zone, I didn't have a pot to piss in, 7-8 years ago. I barely had any money in my pocket, to my name. And, fast forward all these years later, running a retail store, running a promotion, opening a wrestling school, a production company as well. So, I got a lot of different ventures I was able to put my hands in. And that was, hard work. I wasn't born into a family with money. Nobody left me anything. I literally had to scratch and claw and working hard. I guess a little bit of luck along the way as well. But, hard work, stay positive. And you really, it's cliche to say, you can do anything you put your mind to, but you really can, you really can.
Yeah. Now, talking about Bulldozer Collectibles, I think it's really cool that you own your own shop. I'm in the retail business myself, and I can tell you it's not easy because you wear a lot of hats, especially as an owner. So what is, let's talk about a little bit about Bulldozer Collectible. What is your most popular item, and what do you see as your prized possession in that shop?
The store was always something, probably going back to since I was 17. I always wanted to open a wrestling-related business, and in that flea market, because I grew up in the Berlin area, and I wanted to open a business in that flea market itself. And opening a wrestling business was a no-brainer because it's the one thing that I know. So we've been in business about 3 years now. It's tough, like I said, retail, you got your peaks and your valleys, your good season, your bad season. So you'll go through your highs and lows as a business owner. We pretty much carry everything wrestling related besides replica title belts. And usually always the best selling things are, WWE, figures, basics and elites, and even the loose figures that will throw it in for a couple bucks. But anything you can imagine that's, pro wrestling related, WWE or even independent, what we have and we're able to carry so we can, cater to, all different, a wide variety of wrestling fans.
Do you have any mementos from your match with Onita there?
There's a spot in the store where I don't want to say a shrine, but it's like a lot of my, personal memorabilia from, my time in the business. So we have a banner from the Anita match.
Yeah.
We have one of the explosion bats from the Anita match in the store. My first pair of boots and original shorts that I used to wear are hung up in the store. So there's one section in the store when, fans and, customers come in, they can take a look at like old event posters I've been on and ring-worn gear and stuff like that. And it'll catch people's eye. It'll bring them in and start a good conversation.
That's awesome, man. And while we're talking about Onita, that was on your bucket list for a while. We saw you take to social media and call him out, and to actually see it come to fruition finally, and to check off one of the things in your bucket list too, to go to Japan, get that sweet Ribera jacket. That's pretty awesome. How's the food over there?
Japan was great. I didn't have responsibilities at home. I probably would have stayed there and worked over there full time. The experience over there was great. Working with Onita was great. The process and the journey getting to it and getting him over here and having that match. Yeah, I called him out for 1.5 years. I didn't speak to him beforehand. Then he finally saw one of the promos, and we got in contact with each other, and we made everything happen. And a lot of people were part of that process to make that happen, because a lot of people thought we couldn't make it happen. Onita hasn't been in the United States in quite some time, and when others tried before, it fell through. So we were fortunate enough to be able to, make the once in a lifetime event happen. Get Onita over here, wrestling him here and wrestling him over there in Japan. in a couple months span from each other. That time last year was probably my most memorable in the 12 years in the wrestling business, I've been a part of. I owe him so much. He didn't have to do half of what he did, that he did. He's the legend, and, I'll forever be in his debt.
Now, as many wrestlers, you're also fans of the sport. So going into that match, I'm sure you may have not been nervous, but probably were a little bit more excited. Is there one spot in that match that you're the most proud of?
I think probably just the opening of the match where me and him are one-on-one and face-to-face, literally rubbing forehead to forehead. That was pretty surreal. Still to this day, I kind of got to pinch myself that it really did all happen, because as far as deathmatch wrestling goes, he's the legend, he's the pioneer.
Yeah.
To me, in my eyes as a kid, he was the biggest star I ever watched. And to do all what we did still to this day is pretty crazy.
Yeah. And you're going about the same steps that you did with Onita, with now calling out Cody Rhodes. How confident you think you will be able to get into the ring with Cody Rhodes?
More confident than I was a few months ago.
He responded back, right?
Yeah. I mean, I put a graphic out and a couple other things out, and then he, followed me on Twitter, and then has retweeted some stuff, and it garnered a lot of interest, and it had to have caught his eye because of the interest. I think overall, with everybody sharing the graphic and tweeting about it, so he had to take some sort of interest, like, all right, who's this kid? Why is he calling me out, and why is there so much interest in it?
Mm-hmm.
So he had to have seen that. We'll possibly meet for the first time at Boardwalk Beatdown, because himself and the Bull Club will be there, so we might be able to meet for the first time at the convention that morning. But basically, after Onita, I really didn't have any of the dream matches, and Onita I was a big fan of, and I'm a big fan of Cody Rhodes, his work in the ring and his business ethic outside of the ring. He hustles hard, man, and he's, I'm just a fan of what he does. And, his name, his family's name, and his legacy, and, just became a huge fan of his. And I really thought, after not having a dream match after Onita, Cody Rhodes was it. And, yeah, I think it's a lot more realistic than some may think. And, obviously he's tied to contractual obligations with, promotions he's involved with now. So, hopefully, I would say hopefully sometime next year, we'll make it happen. But I think the biggest thing with Onita and why it happened, it was patience. And, patience is a virtue, and I'll continue to stay patient. And hopefully one day we will see myself and Cody collide.
Well, for those who are listening and have not gone into that social media and followed Matt Tremont and everything that's been going on, Cody Rhodes has tweeted that his schedule may be opening up after December, so you might not be waiting too long, just only a couple more months.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, man. That's really exciting. And I think the people who are going to win the most out of that is the wrestling fans. And speaking of that, and we're going to talk a little bit about the state of professional wrestling. I would love to pick your brain about it because, Cody Rhodes leaving the WWE and this big boom in the independent scene with all the great talents that there are out there now, and with All In just a few weeks away, with Boardwalk Beatdown, and so much interest in New Jersey right now. What do you think are some of the reasons that wrestling is so big right now in 2018?
The last 2 to 3 years, the growth in independent wrestling and just the interest in pro wrestling as a whole, I think is, you can definitely see it now. And I think the biggest thing that I see, if you aren't successful now in the wrestling business, you aren't working hard enough, because there's more than enough platforms and promotions and opportunity out there now. That especially, DIY, doing it yourself, you can literally do it yourself now and, make yourself a name and make yourself a star. So, there's just so many platforms and opportunities for people to be successful. If you're just not working hard enough. The wrestling business, I wouldn't say a boom, but it's definitely a very, prospering time for everybody involved. It seems like everybody's doing good business and drawing good crowds and making good money and putting on a good product. that the fans want to buy into and support and continue to support. So it's just a good time overall right now for everybody in the wrestling business. You know, no matter what aspect you are involved with it, it's just right now it's a great time for everybody.
It is totally a great time for everybody. And I want to spotlight two promotions right now that are having a great time, but are also finding it a little hard to coincide next to each other. And I speak of CZW and GCW. Both great promotions, a lot of great talent coming there that you're seeing in the WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling and ROH and the larger promotions. But what is the drama in Jersey, Matt? Fill us in.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't think it's as hostile as it once was, 6 or 7 months ago. And this is, coming from a guy that was kind of caught up in the middle between a lot of it, because I worked for both promotions for so long. I was, both promotions heavyweight champion at one point in time. So I've been involved, with both companies during the highs and lows, for some time. And yeah, it was just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that, that should stay behind the scenes. And there's a lot that still to this day, a lot of the people on the other side of the guardrail still don't know about. And, it's none of anybody's business as well. So it probably won't ever get out there. But I don't think anybody will ever truly know, why the two promotions, can or cannot coexist and do business together. And it's a shame because obviously it's what the fans wanted to see, 6, 7 months ago back at Cage of Death when the initial incident took place when GCW stormed Cage of Death after the show was over. Mm-hmm. So people thought it was a work and it was going to, lead to something, but now it wasn't. And I don't think it ever will, from a fan's point, obviously, that's what they want to see. And, it's a shame, but I don't think at any point in time the two promotions will ever, do business together. And sometimes it's just how it is. And now I'm on the outside looking in because I'm not involved with either promotion anymore. Mm-hmm. But, it seems like GCW is doing very good and very well on their own. CZW is in a transition period where they're trying to find their vision and their identity again. Mm-hmm. The companies are on two different spectrums of where they are right now as far as business and their product. But both are still running. They're doing their thing, and they're just trying to put forth the best product that they can possible. GCW's been on fire for some time, and CZW's trying to do all they can to get back to where they once was. So yeah, I mean it's a shame, but politics and drama will always come hand in hand with independent pro wrestling.
And the fans are the ones who are suffering, I feel, the most, because that is something that we would like to see. And you've brought up a valid point. Is that something that we may have wanted to see back when the invasion happened, when I think there was more of a similarity of product between both brands and you really wanted to see them go head to head? Or now that CZW is going through that transition, or what I like to call it as a rebirth, because it's really, at first I was a little bit disappointed in the new direction it was going to, but little by little I'm getting a lot more invested in the new talent and what they're doing. So I feel like it is that transitional period where you're going to meet new stars and invest in them, and I think they'll be good in a year or so, where people are going to be buying back into CZW stock. But GCW is, blowing up the game right now, man. And I don't think, to your point, as a fan, if right now is the best time to see both companies together, but man, back when the invasion happened, back then, that would have been awesome.
No, for sure. I think if they were to capitalize on it, probably would have done some intriguing business and put forth a lot of pretty unique matches and cards and shows overall. But yeah, I mean, you never say never in wrestling.
That's right.
I think at this point in time, I don't even think GCW would need to do it because they're doing so well on their own and doing creative and innovative things. And
yeah.
So, I mean, but like I said, you never know. Though.
And you're an owner of your own promotion now. So do you see the value of, like, let's say H2O getting together with another promotion to kind of work on through some storylines?
It really depends. See, if I look at it, H2O is a very young business. We're not even, I think we're 2.5 years old right now. So we're still trying to find our own identity. So anything, I wouldn't jump at the chance to do anything interpromotional with another promotion because we're still trying to establish ourselves. Unless that interpromotional business was with a huge company, and then that huge company that we would do business with, that could definitely get a lot of eyes on us and continue to help establish our name. There's a lot of variables that will go into that, but I think right now I'm very old school and territorial in our approach as far as building the H2O name and brand right now. And within the last 6 months, we really have grown, and moving into the building, having our own home. We're running a lot more events now. We're producing a lot more content. So I'm slow and steady wins the race. I'm not trying to take over the wrestling world with the company. I want to put out a good viable product, and give guys a place to work that they enjoy, where there's no drama and politics, and make sure the fans are enjoying themselves, and then create an outlet for guys to give them opportunity, make some money, and just, be involved in what we love being involved with. But I think, maybe if you ask me that question a year from now, I could give you a different answer. But right now, we're rocking and rolling on our own right now.
And adding that wrestling academy to it is another facet on how impressive, like, your resume that you're building for yourself and the legacy that you're building, not just for Matt Tremont, but the professional wrestling scene. So you have the Wrestling Academy. If I wanted to join and I wanted to start my career as a professional wrestler and I came to your Wrestling Academy, what should I expect on day one?
On day one, you're going to hear a lot of me talking. And because it's a lot more than just jumping into the ring and bumping around and learning how to bump and run the ropes and all that. I'm going to sit you down and talk to you about the business, the ins and outs, get to know you as a person and see if there's something really is that you want to jump into. Because if you're not willing to jump into it and give 110% and know what you're getting yourself into, this business isn't for you. It's a lot, for at any age to jump into. I started when I was 17. I dropped out of high school to get into wrestling. Still to this day, I don't have a high school diploma or anything like that, but I worked hard and I told myself I didn't need this piece of paper, to be successful in life. And I'm one of those lucky and fortunate enough cases that, without that piece of paper, I'm able to make a full-time living in wrestling at this level. And not everybody can do that, but you can, as long as you put in the work. So it's definitely a lot of me talking to you, that first day, especially tonight. We're having our open house. So we're going to have a lot of new people come in and try out. And if they get through that tryout and they come back the later in the week or the following week, and this is something they want to pursue, then I'm going to sit them down, talk tuition, talk price, what's affordable for them. And if this is something they want to get themselves into, when I jump in, I give 110%. I've given my life to the wrestling business. And I think in order to be successful, if you can juggle your other world with this world, a lot of people can make it happen now. So, that's the biggest thing. And we got a multitude of various different trainers and outlets, not only with H2O, but with standalone. So you're coming into a family and a community that's here to help you excel and be as successful as possible.
Yeah, and to be successful, like you said, you have to give 110%, and sometimes that 110% comes with a price to pay and a sacrifice. So looking back at what you had to sacrifice, you sacrificed getting that piece of paper, getting that education that says, hey, I'm a high school graduate. Is there anything else that you felt you sacrificed to be successful?
Definitely, I guess that, teenage life and my early 20s, and I didn't spend it partying and, hanging out with friends. I think I still talk to maybe one or two kids I went to high school with. So time with family, missing events, and just not being home a lot. When I was 17, I hit the road and I was training and I was, on this journey. So I sacrificed a lot of friendships and relationships because my best friend and my relationship was with the wrestling business.
And you found a good girl to support you in the wrestling business now. What do you think is the secret of maintaining a relationship while you're working the towns and working the industry?
I am very fortunate and lucky to have a lady that supports it, and does a lot more than just support it. I wouldn't be able to do all the ventures that I'm involved with, without her. It's a team effort between running our store, running our building, our promotion. It is a tag team effort. I can't do half the things I'm able to do without her, and she realizes that, I have a passion for it. She's not the fondest of wrestling.
Really?
At the end of the day, we met at a wrestling show, and, it provides a living for us, and I'm able to pay the bills and keep a roof, over our heads because of it. So, she helps out and, has definitely paid her dues along the way. She's put a lot of miles in on the road and driving, and, she's just as much a part of the business, as I am, and has paid just as much as, dues that I have as well. But yeah, I'm fortunate. I don't know what the keys are to success or finding that right person. I just got lucky, and she's, stands right by my side and helps me with anything I got going on.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It's behind every strong man, there's even a stronger woman, and sometimes they don't get the spotlight or shine that they deserve because they're supporting us in creating that dream and making sure that dream for us is making it happen, and sometimes sacrificing a little bit of their own dream to make sure that happens for us. So mad props to your girl, and thank you to your girl and your family for allowing you to continue to do what you do best. It must not be easy being on the sideline and watching just a wrestler do what they do, but then watching you, Matt Tremont, the bulldozer, do what he does. It's insane, man. It's insane, but thank you for that. As we're wrapping up, I have to say, I'm big into tattoos. I'm big into scars, and because I feel like they are a permanent reminder of moments in your life. They're like a timeline of your life. So what scar on your body has the most significance to you, and why?
I've told it many times. My left arm, the majority of the scars are from one match, and it's pretty crazy to tell. When you tell somebody that, because they're over 12 years combined to doing crazy stuff, and you're scarred up head to toe. But a majority of it is from one match, and that was the Tangle Web match I had in 2015. No, 2012. Even longer ago, Jesus. So Tangle Web 5, CZW, me versus DJ Hyde, choke slammed me off a makeshift scaffolding structure, literally through a spider web of barbed wire, and I got torn to shreds on the way down, and it ripped me from head to toe, on my arm, my back, my ass, my head, and it was about 136 stitches total.
Oh, wow.
To close me back up. I had 4 nurses working on me at once while I was laying on a bed in virtual hospital to stitch me back up. So that was probably one of the worst, big bumps that I ever took. And still to this day, when I look at my left arm, I'm like, yep, Tango Web 5.
Which hospital, by the way? I think CCW must bring so much business to your local hospital. Which is the hospital you guys all go to?
For the longest time, I don't know about anybody else, but Virtual in Voorhees, New Jersey, knew me by my name. I was like Tim the Toolman Taylor, I guess.
What do they say when they see you and they're like, "Oh, you again"?
It's the wrestling guy. The wrestling guy, Matt's back. So for a short period of time, they were seeing me quite often. Probably between 2011 and 2014, I was going balls to the wall, doing crazy stuff every show, and every other show it seemed like I was in there. But they took great care of me, and they were they were a good group of people.
Yeah. The other part of it, tattoos.
I got a couple. I think I got a lay in the wall and a big like Justice hammer on my right arm. I got that when I was 17, and basically it was because I was a CZW fan. It was some of the lyrics from the song.
Mm-hmm.
I got a cross on my left arm that I got when I was 14. No reason or story behind it. That other than I was a freshman in high school and I wanted to have a tattoo, and I was the first person in high school freshman year to have one. And then I got my last name on my right forearm, just in case I forget it from time to time, I guess. But so just the three, and the last one I got was well over 10 years ago. So I haven't gotten a new tattoo in a very long time.
Do you still have an itch for them?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, and probably one of the reasons why is because I do death matches so often.
Uh-huh.
The three tattoos that I have are, pretty much destroyed, and they're all scarred up from all the death matches. But now since I've slowed down a lot from doing the death matches, probably at some point, I think next year, I've had the itch for a while, but hopefully next year I can, start getting some tattoos again and not worried about them getting destroyed in the meantime.
Yeah, well, I hear a good buddy of yours and good buddy to the wrestling community, Schlack, is a great tattoo artist. He's
fantastic artist. He actually just tattooed my ugly face on somebody's body. So a good friend and fan of mine, Jeremy Nickerson, got a portrait of my face on his body. So for a fan to be that supportive of me to get my face on their body is pretty crazy, and it was great work done by Schlack, so it was very cool.
Yeah, well, add that with the handful of titles and handful of tournaments that you've won, some of those big accomplishments in your career. But we're looking forward, Matt. We're looking forward to Boardwalk Beatdown. We're looking forward to that convention where hopefully we will see the face-off between Matt Tremont and Cody Rhodes. And then after the convention, you have a match, a Monster Ball match. Brings you back together with Dan O'Hare, but we're going to add a little seasoning, add a little bit more flavor, and we're throwing in Abyss. Man, how does the addition of Abyss to the match that you recently had with Dan O'Hare, what could the fans expect from this match?
Definitely violence, 100%, 110% Monsters Ball. This match with Abyss was supposed to happen probably on three different occasions at three other different promotions, but it wound up falling through. I couldn't make it to one show because I was sick. Abyss couldn't make it to the last one, so Dan Lynn's finally been able to make it happen. And it's with Dan O'Hare, so it makes the match that much more violent. But Abyss is, I've been a fan of him since I was a kid. It was definitely one of my, bucket list matches. So for it to finally happen, on top of being in my hometown of Atlantic City, and I've never wrestled in my hometown of Atlantic City.
Really?
So it's my first time. So to wrestle in AC for the first time, and to have a big marquee match on this huge day, I'm very pumped up. It's one of my bigger matches that I've had to look forward to for the rest of the year. So it's huge. I can't wait. I'm ready to rock and roll.
That's amazing, man. So with that said, if you haven't gotten your tickets to Boardwalk Beatdown, to Breakout, I don't know, just go to Standalone Wrestling, send them your money, I'm just literally giving them all my credit cards because you do not want to miss anything that is going on that weekend. It starts with Dinners with the Stars, goes through the convention for Boardwalk Beatdown, and then the night of Breakout, the crowning of champions. I mean, this is going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to it. Matt, thank you so much for joining us on A Shot of Wrestling. If anybody wanted to follow you, where could we do that?
Instagram, Twitter, @Tremont CZW. Heard nothing but good things about the podcast, so I appreciate you guys having me on. Keep doing your thing, and thank you again.
Dude, that means the world to me and to everybody listening. We're going to keep you around a little bit longer. If you don't mind, we're going to do last call, so hang out to the end of the episode. Is that cool?
Sounds like a plan. Stay tuned to the end of this episode for Last Call with Matt Tremont.
It's In the News with Michael J. Puddy.
The WWE family is saddened by the passing of Jim Neidhart, affectionately known to the WWE Universe as The Anvil. A world-class athlete, Jim set high school records in the shot put that stood for over a decade and earned a full scholarship to UCLA. Neidhart's physical acumen caught the eye of legendary promoter Stu Hart, and while training at the famed Hart Dungeon, Jim found love both in wrestling and in life, as he would marry Stu's daughter, Ellie. Jim would gain global popularity by joining WWE in 1985. That's where he teamed up with his brother-in-law, WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hitman Hart, to form the iconic
Hart Foundation! The greatest team in wrestling, the Hitman, the Anvils!
The combination of the Hitman's technical prowess and the Anvil's brute strength dominated the tag team division.
The Hart Foundation, the big and black, is back, yeah!
And their extraordinary connection with the audience has made them one of the most memorable tandems in WWE history.
They don't pay me to think, they pay me to be like an anvil! Settle down, Anvil, settle down!
So many funny memories of Jim and being that crazy loud guy that he was on TV, because that's Jim Neidhart.
Neidhart's success added to the prestige of the Hart family legacy. But he took the most pride in the accomplishments of his daughter, Natty, who has been a driving force in WWE's women's evolution.
Do you know how much I love you?
How much?
A ton.
To fans, Jim will always be remembered for his trademark goatee and signature laugh. But to those who knew him, he was a loving father, husband, and family man who lived his life to entertain.
Yes, unfortunately, we start off some sad news this week. Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away. As we all know by now, at the age of 63, he probably fell at his house and hit his head on the way down. His wife Elizabeth told emergency personnel he collapsed while apparently having a seizure and hit his head when he was falling. He went to adjust the thermostat, and he turned weirdly as if he were about to dance, end quote, and he fell towards the wall and hit his head on the ground. She called 911 because she thought he was having a seizure. Apparently he suffers from seizures and takes medication for that. His last seizure was back in December 2017, and doctors also believed he may have had Alzheimer's disease. That sucks. Emergency officials arrived at the house and found him on the floor with a 4-inch gash on his head and blood all over his face. He was pronounced dead a short time later. It's always sad when you lose somebody, but this one kind of just is extra sad for some reason. I wasn't the biggest Anvil fan as a kid. I liked the Hart Foundation, but I wasn't the big Hart Foundation fan, so I'm not going to sit here and say I was a big fan of him growing up. But I liked him just because he was a character. He had the sunglasses, the physique, the haircut, the beard, that iconic laugh. He was a character. If you watched wrestling at the time, you always remembered who he was. He always stood out. And all these years later, we were always talking about the Anvil being a part of that classic, iconic Hart Foundation. Of course, the Hart Foundation 2.0 during the Attitude Era. Anvil was just awesome. He was great. He was very memorable in that industry. You need to be memorable, and he did. But more so for me, I kind of fell in love with the Anvil watching Total Divas, as stupid as that may sound. He was just a big character on that show as well. Natalia, his wife, would tell him to do something like, Daddy, you got to do this. You can't do that. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that. Like, he didn't give a fuck whatever they told him to do. They would force him to try to eat healthier, and he'd get it all over his shirt. He was just didn't give a fuck. He wanted to live his own life. And everyone loved him for it. You could tell his daughter loved him. His wife loved him. He was just a great stand-up guy. And it's sad to see him go. And I'm behind on a lot of things on my DVR. Something I'm going to catch up on my vacation. And one of them was Total Divas. I have like 6 episodes left. So Sunday night, the night before he passed away, I watched Total Divas. And it was them getting ready for SummerSlam. It was Natalia's big title match. She brought out the Anvil's jacket he wore at SummerSlam compared to the jacket she was going to wear. She made him try it on. It didn't fit. Like, she's making him try to button it up. Like, it's not meant to be buttoned. She goes, yes, Daddy, it's supposed to be. He's like, no. It wasn't barely able to get buttoned. So it's just sad. We here at Shadow Wrestling extend our deepest condolences to the Neidhart family, his friends, and of course all his fans. Rest in peace, big man. And one more time, let us hear it. In completely other news, according to a report, WWE is currently looking into allegations that have been made against Randy Orton. Back in 2012, former storyline writer Court Bauer told the following story about Orton on the edition of MLW Radio, and I quote, for every new writer that would show up, he would come into the room, put his hands down his pants, he would pull out his dick, touch himself, and then say, I'm Randy Orton, shake my hand. Oh, you don't want to shake my hand? You're a big league in me, huh? That's fucked up. Should I tell Vince, Steph, you won't shake Randy Orton's hand? That's not bad enough. In addition, comments made by Ken Anderson back in 2017 during a U-Shoot interview surfaced where he claims, and I quote, one time I was in the locker room, everyone had left the building, it was just Randy Orton and I in the locker room. He was completely naked, came out of the shower. I remember him touching my boots, sitting there, and he kept dipping his cock in my boot. I was like, what are you doing? He was like, ding, just dipping his balls and his cock into my boot. He did stuff like this all the time, and we'd be riding around in the car. I'd be like, Randy, there's nobody else around to find this funny. But apparently Orton found it funny, because he kept doing it nonstop, according to Ken Anderson. WWE responded to media inquiries and noted that they are looking into the matter, but it's believed there will be no action taking. This past SmackDown, during a dark main event match, Orton approached some of the WWE staff at ringside and went to shake their hands. Everyone was laughing about it. Everyone was a good time, good old laugh. The whole group broke out. So this reaction, many people are taking that this could be a sign of how serious the WWE is taking these allegations. So pretty much note to self, never shake Randy Orton's hand during these meet and greets. If you see him in the restaurant, if you see him on the street, don't shake his hand. Please. The more you know. We'll keep you updated if anything does come from that. In other news, Michael Cole took to Twitter to praise Renee Young on commentary. He tweeted, and I quote, words cannot express how proud I am of Renee Young. What she accomplished last night is not an easy feat. The chair's a tough one to sit in. She brought poise, professionalism, and a refreshing view. Renee and Graves were a great team. Thanks for helping me feel young again. Young was also interviewed backstage about her commentary experience, and she said, Vince McMahon only spoke to me once. Just once. I mean, I'm sure he was kind of letting me get away with a few things, but yeah, he told me to slow down on a couple spots, but that was about it, and geez, that's the only note you get from Vince McMahon. Hallelujah, I'll take it. I think she did a good job. Hope she does it again. Move over to SmackDown, get rid of fucking Tom Phillips. But I asked you guys, what did you think about Renee Young? And you guys chimed in saying, some of her calls were a bit monotone, and she seemed more reserved. Some shining moments, but it seemed like someone was in her ear a whole lot. But overall, she did a good job. That comes from One Sweet Wrestling Podcast on Instagram. LilyCat85, she was awesome. Lord of Hate 316 simply said, she was better than Green Man. You gotta agree with that. Busta Crime said, I think she would do even better if Michael Cole was not there. It's only the beginning, though. C. Corey 36, very good. Bit shy, but I give her 8 out of 10. So that's just some of your thoughts. Get involved in the conversation. We post questions on our social medias. Respond back. Your comments will be read on the air. We want to hear from you. Other than you guys, mainly from reading online, it's overall positive feedback for Renee Young. So I'm assuming they'll bring her back because the more she does it, the better she's going to get. So excited to see her next time. Like I said, bring her over on SmackDown. In other news, Daniel Bryan's status with the WWE has been a subject of much speculation over the last couple of months, as I have been reporting. However, Bryan revealed on the Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast that it is very likely he will, in fact, sign a new deal with the WWE in the next few weeks. His current contract expires on September 1st. He said, and I quote, at this point, it's 90+%. I would say it's likely I will sign with the WWE. I have not resigned yet, but it could happen as soon as the end of this week. It might even take a couple more weeks, but whenever it is, it'll happen. So it's good to see Daniel Bryan staying loyal to the company that's been helping him out through everything. So we'll keep you updated on when, in fact, he does resign. But speaking of Daniel Bryan, WWE announced that the 2K Showcase mode will return in the upcoming WWE 2K19 video game and will focus on Daniel Bryan. Now, what is the 2K Showcase, you ask? 2K Showcase allows players to play through a single-player story mode that revisits major milestones in Daniel Bryan's career. Past showcases have included Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, DX, Christian, Mark Henry. Players will also hear from Daniel Bryan himself about the significance of each milestone and the objectives along the way. This year's 2K Showcase includes 12 matches, including 11 historic matches and 1 surprise battle, 15 video interview packages, as well as 20 video cutscenes, all designed to emphasize the featured moments. I love the showcase modes, so I'm happy to see he's back. They stopped doing it like a couple years ago to focus more on the career modes, but I'm happy to see he's back. I can't wait. WWE 2K19 coming out in October. In other news, no doubt, a feature of a future showcase, AJ Styles is in the news. As we first broke the news story on our social medias, AJ Styles has now surpassed JBL as the longest reigning world champion in SmackDown history. Congratulations to you, AJ Styles. Big news. See how long it lasts. Hope it does not end at SummerSlam. Hope it keeps going on and on. I think he's doing a great job as champion. In other news, there's been talk of Matt Hardy's shadowing producers to gain a better insight into their role, with many believing his future inside the ring might not be lasting much longer. Also, besides Matt Hardy, in addition, Jason Jordan has been doing the same thing because of a number of issues with him and his recent neck surgery. So, could Matt Hardy and the young Jason Jordan be moving to the backstage roles? We'll keep you updated. In other news, I've been asked several times what the difference is between certain matches. And it's hard to really give you a textbook definition of what the differences are. But somebody is listening because a number of WWE fans received a new survey from the company in which they define some of their more extreme match types. For example, a hardcore match is defined as a wrestling match where disqualification counts and all other rules do not apply in favor of the matches that take place in both unusual environments and usual environments. The use of many foreign objects is allowed, and these matches can occur anywhere. A no DQ match is defined as a match where neither wrestler can be disqualified, allowing for weapons and outside interference. Falls must be made inside the ring, and there's less emphasis on the use of weapons, and often the countout rule is still in effect. A no-holds-barred match is defined as a match where neither wrestler can be disqualified, allowing for weapons and outside interferences. Falls must be made inside the ring, the countout rule is not in effect, and a greater emphasis is on weapons. And finally, street fight is defined as uses the various elements of no-holds-barred and no-disqualification matches, and does allow pinfalls and submissions outside of the ring. Rope breaks do not apply, so having any part of the body against the ropes will not break a submission or a pin attempt. Well, that certainly clears things up, huh? In other news, USA Network has announced that it's picking up Ms. and Mrs. for another 14 episodes to air starting 2019. USA Network says Ms. and Mrs. is the top unscripted launch in more than 7 years, averaging 1.7 million viewers during the first 3 episodes alone. The Miz reportedly responded to the news about the renewal with only one simple word. Awesome! And finally, in other news, sad news to report, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, passed away at the age of 76 following a lengthy battle with pancreatic cancer. Franklin made 2 notable appearances for the WWE, first at WrestleMania 3 inside the Silver Dome singing America the Beautiful in front of 93,000 fans, and returned 20 years later to sing it again for 75,000 fans at WrestleMania 23 inside Ford Field in downtown Detroit. With your boy at Michael J. Puddy and the Green Man, we're fortunate enough to be in attendance to bear witness to the great Aretha Franklin in person. Aretha Franklin is one of the larger-than-life names in the music industry. She was in movies, TV, WrestleManias. She did it all. She inspired a lot of people. It's a sad loss. She was battling cancer for a long time, so finally she's at peace. We here at Shadow Wrestling send our condolences to the Franklin family, her friends, and her fans. Thank you for your great music, and rest in peace.
And now, here to sing America the Beautiful, the Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha Franklin!
Oh, beautiful for spacious sky, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited
A Shot of Wrestling presents Heel and Heel.
All right, folks, let's start off with Raw. Big heel. There's no in-memory graphic to the Anvil? What the fuck, man? You have Ronda Rousey come out to say some spiel, but wouldn't it have hurt to just do a splash page in memorial to the Anvil? You mean do it with everybody, not the Anvil for some reason? That's fucked up. And then, hey, where's Mickie James? You know, why all of a sudden is she replaced by Alicia Fox as Alexa Bliss's best friend? Well, what's going on? Where'd she go? I miss some Mickie James. And cheers, you know, I don't get fooled that often, but man, that Paul Heyman bit was great. It got me. I was suckered in. I was loving every bit of it. You know, talk about a long con. Was it 2 weeks in the making just to attack him? Just to get this cheap shot on him? I thought it was well done. It came off well. And oh yeah, you know, Dean Ambrose came back. In case you guys were wondering, and sporting a new look. Liked the new look a lot better than that strangly wet, moppy hair that he had. So I'm digging it. SmackDown. Cheers to those Miz, Daniel Bryan, and recap videos. Man, this feud has been building up for 8 years. This is great. This gave this match a big fight feel, like a WrestleMania feel to this match. Looking forward to it. You know, Miz is going to lose. But man, these videos just hype me up for it. I can't wait. Heel for SmackDown. That was your main event? That was your main event for a go-home show. I mean, you could have done that anywhere on the show. Top of the 9 o'clock hour. You know, it's your main event. I was expecting something more, and it kind of fell flat. This is the last bit of WWE programming we're going to see before SummerSlam, and that's what you give us? Kind of fell flat. Yeah, I think it missed the mark for me. But that's it. Those are your go-home shows for SummerSlam, the biggest party of the year, and that's all I got. Let's go to Lucha Underground. Cheers. Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Kill Shot started out the show. What a fantastic match. What a great way to start off a wrestling show. If you missed it, go back onto the YouTube, check it out. Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Killshot. Whew, man. Lucha Underground is delivering in the ring week in and week out. Oh, man. Fantastic. And there was a trios championship. It was the Mac, Son of Havoc, and Killshot going against the Reptile Tribe, which was Jeremiah Snake. I think that's his new name now. Jeremiah Crane. I think he's now Jeremiah Snake. The other guy, and Moon. Cobra Moon? Yeah, nice. There's this one cool spot where there was one person, I don't know who it was, laying in the ring. The other person from the other team wraps their legs around the person's neck. I think they called it a triangle choke. So then while that person is applying it, the person from the other team comes up and does the same move to that person. And they alternate until 5 people are laying across the ring mat, alternating these triangle chokes. Whew. The Mac comes in, sees this, takes the original person by the legs, flips them over for a Boston Crab. In turn, the other 5 people flip over, reversing the pressure. And it looked like a modified human centipede. That was fucking cool. You don't see that anywhere else but Lucha Underground. That was fantastic. That was a nice spot. I appreciate that. Cheers to the drama that continues between Killshot and his partners Havoc and the Mac. I cheered a couple weeks ago, and I've been loving how the drama has been unfolding. Now, Killshot cost, spoiler alert, his teammates the Trios Championships. So I'm very curious to see where this goes from here. I'll keep you updated. And at the end, it was a big cheers. It was a brawl between Pentagon, Dark, and Cage. These guys just brawled all over the temple. They were going in the ring, outside the ring, in the fan, to the second tier of the temple, in the mezzanine section, through the camera area. It was just nonstop mayhem. All over. It was crazy. It didn't even end. The show ended with them still fighting, making their way to the backstage. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So don't just check out the Dragon Azteca Jr. Killshot match. Check out the whole damn episode of Lucha Underground. I was about ready to make this my pick for this week's program until I watched Impact. Oh, shit. First of all, Impact started out with an in-memory graphic to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Appreciate it. Hashtag respect. Cheers. Sami Callihan versus Phoenix started the show. Another fantastic wrestling match to a wrestling show. Great, great match. If you have not seen it, go check out the Impact YouTube. Sami Callihan versus Phoenix. It was awesome. It got me pumped up for the rest of the show. Lucha Underground Impact starting out with actually great one-on-one wrestling matches. Who would have figured? Now, it pains me to say this. I'm going to cheer the debut of this smoke show. Cheer is a cheer and a heel. For those of you new to the show, I'm going to cheers it because I got to see Scarlett Bordeaux looking smoking hot as ever. What a beautiful, beautiful woman. I actually posted a picture of her on my Instagram and Twitter at Michael J. Puddy. for Woman Crush Wednesday, to which she actually liked it on Twitter. So I guess you can say things between us are kind of serious. But heel, because that was it. It was a backstage segment between KM and Falaba, and didn't really do anything. Like, oh, okay. I thought it was going to be an in-ring interview or something. But that was backstage between KM and Falaba that didn't really progress any storyline or do anything. So hopefully it comes back next week. Hopefully it's just, treading the water, testing things out. But, I'll keep you updated. I'm cheersing because I'm loving the pairing of Austin Aries and Killer Kross. They look good together. They have a good symbiotic relationship. And, not that Austin Aries needs it, but it's cool that now he has an insurance policy. His words, not mine. I cannot wait to see how this partnership develops and where this goes from here. Man, awesome. Now, the clip of the week, I thought about every single week. This week was only 5 minutes, 56 seconds, but it was a jam-packed 5 minutes, 56 seconds. It wasn't rest hold after rest hold of a boring match. This was utter chaos. It was some match. Both locker rooms cleared out. Don't know what that means. Some team from England won. So I don't know if it was an American versus England thing. They didn't really specify. They were fighting in the ring. There was fighting outside the ring. The big name by Kevin Nash, Dudley Boys, Sting. Those fights spilled out to the parking lot. You had fighting in the parking lot. You had fighting in the ringside. You had fighting on the ramp. You had fighting in the ring. Pure and utter chaos. I'm intrigued. I want to watch this to see what happened, to see what led to this and how it played out. But I cannot, because they didn't tell me the date. They didn't tell me the event. They didn't tell me anything. So I cannot go back on the GWN to watch this because I have no clue what to look for. Please, you did it once. Josh Matthews did it a couple weeks ago. You told me the date. You told me the location. Do that. Keep doing it. You're doing these clips of the week shit to promote your GWN. But how can you promote something when I can't go back and watch it? So please, just give me the date. Give me the event so I can go back whenever, if and ever I get this fucking network. Let me know. Please. Give me the date and time. So yeah, I love Lucha Underground, but Impact, I think, stole the show this week. This week's Impact is my program pick of the week. Congratulations to Impact. Fantastic. Getting some ratings. Raw this week drew a 2.825 million, which is down 0.75% from last week's 2.804. Raw was number 3 in the night in viewership behind Hannity and Rachel Maddow after a 2-week run at number 1. Raw, however, was number 1 on the 18 to 49 demographic. I guess Love and Hip Hop was a repeat, or it might be over. SmackDown this week drew a 2.189 million, which is down 0.36% from last week's 2.197 million. SmackDown was number 6 in viewership for the night behind Hannity, Rachel Maddow, Fox News. SmackDown was number 1 in the 18 to 49 demographic for a 3rd week in a row. Ms. and Mrs., which featured the birth of the beautiful baby girl Monroe Sky Mizanin, drew up 1.162 million, which is down from last week's 1.225 million. The show ranked number 3 in the night in the 18 to 49 demographic. Impact this week drew a 210,000, which is up 25% from last week's 168,000. Impact ranked 112 on the cable top 150. Last week it ranked 127. So Impact, huge jump this week. And it shows because you guys got a great show. But that was it. That's pretty much wrestling this week in a nutshell. Looking forward to see what next week brings. And the post SummerSlam shows, it gotta be better than go home shows. We'll see what happens. Let's go home thoughts. SummerSlam, the biggest party of the year. SummerSlam emanating for the 4th year in a row from Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. On the pre-show, we have Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. I can't give you a prediction. Can't tell you anything because I don't know anything. Rusev and Lana take on Andre, Cien Almas, and Selena Vega. I would assume either Rusev and Lana either win or Aiden English cost them this match. We'll see what happens. Or did Aiden English cost them this match on purpose? What? The B-Team versus the Revival for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I would hope B-Team retains here. But give my boys a Revival a bone. That's your pre-show. Great matches for a fucking pre-show. Let's get into your main show, SummerSlam. Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. Does this feud continue or does Finn Balor finally get his redemption here? Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens for the Money in the Bank contract. I mean, WWE and the WWE Universe worship the ground that Braun Strowman walks on. So it's pretty much clear cut that Braun Strowman's going to retain here, but he could lose it by any means, which gives some hope, some light at the end of the tunnel for Kevin Owens to pull this one out. I'm rooting for Kevin Owens here. The Bludgeon Brothers versus The New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. No one cares. Carmella versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I wouldn't be surprised if Carmella retains here. Many people are speculating this could start a feud between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. I agree. Carmella has to squeak out a victory here, just for her character alone. So good luck, Carmella. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship. Already in October for Hell in a Cell, it's Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. So I'm assuming it's going to be a title match. So I'm assuming Jeff Hardy wins here. But Cheesecake just got it. But he's had nothing with it. Huh. I'm up in the air here. Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. I mean, is the writing on the wall here? Does Ronda Rousey finally get it done? They pull the trigger on her so quick? Talking about this a couple weeks ago. I don't care either. Ronda Rousey, Braun Strowman are the two biggest things going on in Raw. Hell, the W Universe. I don't care about either one of them. Does that say something about them or me? Am I wired wrong? Who cares? Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. Please, please, please let Dolph Ziggler win here. I forgot to mention, we were at the Dolph Ziggler comedy show. Someone asked him about the contract. He was very evasive. His contract expires, I think, September 1st as well. And he said his future will be, he's looking forward to his future. But we'll find out after Sunday and Monday's event, we'll know more about what's going on. So we'll see what happens. Is he holding the company hostage? Or is he waiting to see what happens at SummerSlam? Or is he just playing out his contract to move on to bigger and better things? I'm playing with Dolph Ziggler here. Dolph Ziggler all the way. He deserves it. He's been most underused, underrated guy. They treat him like shit. Finally, he's doing something. Please let him keep running with it. Jesus. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. Of course, The Miz all the way. But Daniel Bryan's going to win here. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. Many people are speculating that Samoa Joe will finally win. I'm going to pull for AJ Styles here because let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's see how long the streak can go. You're doing a great job as champion. Why break it up now? And in your main event, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Now, this is the big question mark. What's going on here? This will decide the future of the WWE Universe, the future of Brock Lesnar. I won't be surprised if he retains here, but it depends on what his contract is, how his meeting with the powers that be before SummerSlam go. Is he going to work with WWE and UFC? You know Vince is going to have a hard on. He's desperate to have the WWE Universal title walked out to the cage for his big fight. I think it was January. But will Dana White even let that happen? You're taking a big gamble here. I don't know. I'm going for Roman Reigns. There's a great article Erwin the Voice sent me about the whole Roman Reigns project. And if Roman Reigns doesn't win here, he's a huge bust. And you're ruining him. So give it to Roman Reigns. Let him do something, man. Because your whole trying to get the crowd behind Roman Reigns worked well in Miami. It's not going to work in Brooklyn. It didn't work wherever the fuck they were last week. When you had the whole sympathetic attack by Paul Heyman. And then Brock Lesnar comes out to attack a wounded animal and the crowd's chanting one more time. Yeah, this ain't working. Let's put it to an end. Let's get rid of this. End this feud. Let's end this storyline. Give it to Roman Reigns. Let a champion be on Raw week in and week out. Let's try that for the first time in 400 and some fucking days. Oh, plus, because even Goldberg wasn't even around. So, first time since Kevin Owens? It was like 2 years ago? Shit. Raw sucks. Despite my views, SummerSlam, despite many of your views as well, SummerSlam does not look that bad. In paper, Finn Balor, Baron Corbin's going to be a good match. Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens, Carmella, Becky Lynch is going to be a good match. Cheesecake versus Hardy is going to be a good match. Dolph Ziggler is going to be a great match. And AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, if given enough time, is going to steal the show. It's going to be a match of the night here. And it's going to overshadow the whole Lesnar-Reigns match, but they don't care about that. So you heard it here first. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, match of the night. We'll find out more. If you have nowhere to go to watch SummerSlam, if you did not get a ticket, if you were not lucky enough to get a ticket, your boy at Michael J. Puddy will be out in Long Island at a fucking wedding. But you can join other rowdy wrestling fans at the Crown Room on Bell Boulevard in Bayside, Queens. That is right, our viewing parties are back. No cover, food specials, drink specials, the Crown Room on Bell Boulevard in Bayside, Queens. Go check it out. Your bartender Anna will hook you up. So, yeah, what's he going to do on Sunday night? SummerSlam starts at 7 o'clock. Crown Room, Bell Boulevard, Bayside, Queens. Well, that's it for me here on episode 130. We're going to go home, going to relax. I am off the next 2 weeks from work, so I get to literally do nothing but prepare and pack and plan for Atlantic City for Standalone Wrestling's Boardwalk Beatdown. James Ellsworth will be at a Shadow Wrestling's booth. Your boy at Michael J. Puddy and the Green Man will be walking around the convention, taking pictures, signing autographs, doing videos. So look for a big, tall, 6'6", studly, gorgeous, good-looking Mad and a little guy painted green. Come say hi. If you're wearing a Shadow Wrestling shirt, we'll give you a prize. We'll give you something. Green Man will give you probably like $5. I haven't talked to him about that yet, but if I said it on air, it has to be true. So wear a Shadow Wrestling shirt through Boardwalk Beatdown. Green Man will give you $5 out of his own pocket, not mine, his own pocket. So Boardwalk Beatdown should be a good time. Looking forward to it. Now my car I drive isn't that great. To me, it just feels weird when I turn it on. It makes funny noises. So your boy's going to bring it to his mechanic while I'm off from work, doing nothing, catching up on DVR stuff. And if it passes the test, if he says okay, I started driving, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. My first long road trip, I'll be driving down to Atlantic City. So fingers crossed. Wish me luck. Hope the GPS fucking works. So I'm a little nervous, a little hesitant. So, keep your fingers crossed. Say a prayer for Michael J. Puddy dropping down to Atlantic City because a little hesitant about it, a little nervous. But anyway, here we are. SummerSlam 2011, okay? CM Punk just beat John Cena. It's not a spoiler. I'll talk about it on top of the show, so don't worry about it. Kevin Nash comes and power bombs CM Punk. Del Rio comes in, cashes in to win the WWE Championship. Now, 2 notes. 1, did this lead anywhere? I remember Kevin Nash and CM Punk having this thing beef, but did that go anywhere? I think they had a match, but I don't remember what happened here. Let me know at Michael J. Puddy's social medias. I don't remember offhand. Something happened here. But what was the reason here? Enlighten me, please. Note 2. Del Rio comes down with a referee, hands the referee the case. The referee says he's cashing in, drops the case, bell rings, boom. 11 seconds later, Del Rio's champion. Fast forward to 2018 when Carmella is trying to cash in her money in the breaking briefcase. We talked about it on the show with Irwin too. The referee doesn't know what the fuck to do. She hands the guy the case and he's like, what? So props to the referee back in 2011 for knowing what the fuck to do, unlike here in 2018. But I digress. It was a good show. Check it out. SummerSlam 2011. Probably going to get better than this year. So if you don't want to watch SummerSlam 2018, watch SummerSlam 2011. But again, folks, that is it for me here from Omega Studios. The show is from the fans, for the fans. So get involved in the conversation. Leave comments, leave questions on our social medias for whatever we post. We will read it on the air. It's A Shot of Wrestling on Facebook, A Shot of Wrestling on Instagram, Shot of Wrestling No A on Twitter. Great Man doesn't touch Twitter, so check me out. Twitter, Shot of Wrestling No A, or at Michael J. Puddy. I do both. Inbox at shotofwrestling.com. If you're not on social media, if you're the rare 1% that's not on social media, dial it up, 619-343-3005. We will answer all your comments, questions, or concerns. Also, Eric Jaden, the definition of authority and sexiness, the sexy Zane himself, is answering your questions for your love advice. So dial it up, 619-343-3005. If you have called that number to leave your questions for Eric Jaden, we have got them. Please be patient. We will answer them accordingly. So keep them coming. That show is going to come out sooner rather than later. That's all I got for episode 130. So thank you to Green Man. Thank you to Matt Tremont. I have been your host at Michael J. Puddy. Until next week, until Atlantic City for Boardwalk Beatdown. Puddy out.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Oh. All right, everybody, we have made it to the end of the episode, and it's last call with Matt Tremont. Now, Matt, it's pretty simple. Rapid fire question. The first thing that comes to your mind is the first thing you should answer. Are you ready?
Let's rock roll.
All right. Who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Kevin Sullivan.
Who has been your toughest opponent?
Masada.
What snack do you have a weakness for?
Onions.
What is your favorite adult beverage?
Mountain Dew Live Wire.
What is the best feature on a woman?
Smile.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
House of Pain, Jump Around.
Ooh, good one. What is the most expensive item in Bulldozer Collectibles?
The WWE Elite figures.
Other than wrestling, what is your favorite sport?
Basketball.
What is your weapon of choice in a death match?
Ball block bat.
Where is the number one place you want to travel to?
Japan.
Finally, how many bandanas do you own?
Too many.
All right, Matt, you've survived last call. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we look forward to seeing you at Boardwalk Beatdown.
Thank you, guys. See you then.
Hey, baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh, my. And maybe you seem a bit confused. Yeah, baby, but I got you pinned. Ha, 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.